Hey everybody, I wanted to make another knife video, and I thought that I would make this one about my collection of Canoe knives. I'm going to be starting out with some different brands here, Rough Riders and uh, sort of more recent Queens. The classic Canoe, as we all know, is about 3 5/8 inches long and has two blades. A big spear point blade, which is part of why I like them so much as a good working knife, with a second blade that's smaller. I've seen some people refer to it as a pin blade. I've also seen it referred to as a small spear point blade. So the first one I want to show you is kind of in an unfortunate shape, but what's unique about it is it has three blades. And it was made by, if you can see that, Parker Frost. So this is one of their early knives. I called these Christmas tree knives when I was a kid. They're some kind of acrylic composite handle. And this one here, if you look at it, can you see that? It says Rogers, another word I can't quite see, and then made in England. This knife unfortunately needs some serious cleaning up. I have recently gone through it and got to where I can open all the blades up, but I'm wondering if the case eraser that I got in a couple of weeks ago can help this knife out, because it's got some serious condition issues. I don't know why that one's not going to focus, but I see there. But you can imagine what a beautiful knife that would have been. This is the early days of the Frost cutlery. Moving on, this right here is one that I actually work with quite a bit. This is a buck. You know, there you go. Got that good spear point blade. This is what the buck 389 something or other. It's made in China. But you know, it's got a pretty bone handle on it. I think that these now, you can get a really good price on these at Walmart. At least you could as a couple of years ago. My dad gave me this one just use it as a work knife, and I do that with it. I cut bands off of steaks and sometimes cut dirt. Here's kind of a fancy one. This is a Rough Rider that I got last year. I always have loved the yellow synthetic handles. I'm not a real big fan of the R stamped into the bolster, but you know, I've seen some people that love it, some that don't. You got your match, what do they call that? Matchstick. Matchstick thumbnail groove there. This is made in China. This one actually has a half stop on it. See that? It's got a good walk and talk. It's got a very, very heavy pull on it though. You can even hear that, right? It's not terribly sharp, but this one came in and just I never did use it much. One thing is interesting on this, you see up here on that blade how narrow it gets right here. It's back here. I've got one that's even more pronounced than that I did carry. I got it earlier this year, but this is it's an attractive knife made by Rough Rider. Nail nick, that's what they call it. Matchstick nail nick. This is another Rough Rider here. Notice there's no half stop on this one, but it does have a really good action on it. An attractive pattern on the bone there. I got this one to be a work knife. I never have carried it because I just started carrying other stuff like Sodbusters and Stockman, but I think it's attractive. I bought two of these. I'm on the less expensive knives. I like to give one away. Now this is a made in China queen that I got, and I may have put it in my last video when I was featuring queen knives. It's got that nice diagonal saw cut bone on it, and it's really a pretty attractive knife, and it does have a half stop. I think I saw Thrifty Canoe actually do a review of one of these once. You see there, queen, and queen. We've got a model number there, and then China. And this was a pretty inexpensive knife. I think I got it for like $14. And it's pretty dull now, but I've sharpened it a couple of times. Sometimes in my work as a hydrologist, I have to take soil probe plugs. And to really see what that soil looks like on the inside, you cut it open. You just slice it down the center of it, and so you can see if you have a lot of oxidation or anything in that soil. And a good stainless steel knife that doesn't cost a lot is great for that. But this is a real pleasant knife right here. I enjoy carrying it. Moving on, this is another one I bought early last year. And this one is actually a case canoe in the red bone. I don't know if you'll be able to see this right here, but old red bone smooth canoe, made 10/17/2022, which it's funny that knife's been around that long, because I just bought it, like I say, in late December of 2024 or early in 2025. It does not have a half stop on there. You can see your case stamp, the lightning bolt S indicating stainless steel. It's been sharpened several times. It's not terribly sharp right now, but it's a pretty handle. Highly polished finish on it, so of course it's a fingerprint magnet, but this is definitely a working knife, and from some of the work it's gotten a little bit on the stiff side. Still got a good walk and talk though. Hear that? Go on to another working one here. Here's one my dad got me when I went back to surveying in early 2017. And this is a black synthetic jigged case canoe, what they call that, the gum fuddy. I think that came about around World War II when some of the other handle materials were in short supply. It's been a great knife right here. And I do have a pretty good edge on that one still. I put a new edge on it pretty regular, actually. And this one was made in 3 X's, 4, 5. So you got the bottom's complete and 3 are missing from the top. And with that style right there, let me mix that. I believe that it does not say USA under it, so we're down here the 2010. So I'm thinking this knife here is about a 2013 or 14, something like that. But a great work knife right there. Occasionally I will collect these knives, and here's one that's a purely collector knife, right? Collector knife. Caribbean blue bone. But it goes beyond that, my friends. It's made 11/19/2024. Check this out. The Caribbean blue bone is quite beautiful. Here's the show side of it. You got your XX shield on there, and look at that bass. That is just awesome looking, isn't it? Double X on the bolster. That is just a really attractive knife. And it's got a really cool feel to it, the way the engraving has given it some texture down here. But yeah, I like that one quite a bit. Now we're going to go in to some antiques. Well, let's show you this one. This is one that I got, and I carried this one a little bit. Well, no, the one I carried I actually gave away to a friend of mine. This is the amber bone peach seed jig, and this is the one I bought to replace the one I gave to my friend. This was made in March 15th, 2023. And part of the reason I chose this one, I think that's a beautiful handle, the amber bone with the peach seed jig on it. But this one actually also has the Indian in his canoe on it. Let's see if we can get that to focus. It's kind of hard. It's a high gloss, shiny finish on this one. But it came very sharp. You know, I've seen people talk about cases sometimes not coming very sharp from the factory, but they did a really good job on this one. And when I sharpen my knives, I usually just put them on a soft Arkansas stone, and it'll get a good edge on there pretty quickly. But yeah, that's a pretty knife. Here's one that I ordered off of eBay, and this is an older knife. I like stuff from the 1970s. You know, I was born in 1972, so I like vintage things. I like the sound of vintage music and, you know, acoustic guitar music from that hazy sunlight day of films, and bluegrass from that era and things like that. This is a knife. This is obviously carbon steel because it has not resisted rust. I've got a pretty good edge. I have carried it a few times. You see, now this one, this blade's been sharpened quite a bit, looks like, over the years. And you know, that's what these knives are made for. And also, what I have learned about collecting is that this will always be worth about what you paid for it, or about what somebody else is willing to give you for it because they like it. A knife like this one right here, this knife was meant to be used. So when you find one in decent condition and someone's wanting that this is truly a more collectible knife right here, or more higher value knife. And I like that one quite a bit. You hear, man, just listen to that. 1, 2, 3. That back spring is awesome on it. You know, classic single back spring, brass liners, 3 5/8 inches long. The bolster's overall shape of the knife reminds you of what a canoe looks like. Here's a 1977 one that my dad ordered for me a few years ago. He knew I liked this pattern. And once again, this one has the Native American on there in his canoe. It's just a really cool knife. This is, I can't remember the name of this bone color right here, but it's really cool, man. And this knife never has been used much. You know, I don't use it. I'm not gonna go out and destroy it. That's the thing about having a blade etching. Sometimes you're a little hesitant to go out and use that knife, but you know, this is a really pretty one. And last but not least, we have one that belonged to my granddad. And this is a pretty old knife. This is from somewhere between 1965 and 1969. And I keep this one oiled up pretty good because I don't want it to just get in bad shape. So 131, that's the Canoe pattern, if you can see that on this one. 5, I think, indicates it's a stag blade, and 2, of course, indicates a 2 blades on it. So stag, 2 blades, 131 is a Canoe pattern. Look how pretty that is. The knife was carried a lot. Definitely was used, and I'm going to oil it up when we're done with this again. But listen to that. It just sounds so good. Once again, single back spring and 2 brass liners. Right there. If you look at this, man, the quality of these are all exceptional once you get to the cases. You know, there's not really any gapping or anything in these knives. Well, now this looks like there might be 2 back springs on it. You know what? Let's compare. Yeah, look at that. That's crazy. Let's see this other newish one here. I do believe they've changed over the years. These two both appear to have 2 back springs, where these two both appear to have singles. How about that? Yeah, and they got 2 on this one as well. Anyway, that's my collection of case canoes. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm not just perfect at making these things, but I know we all like looking at knives, and these are a really pretty, not super popular pattern, but you still see quite a few of them. The pattern's been around since probably the 19-teens. So definitely sticking around for a reason. Well, you guys all have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching.